Hey guys, Melon Man here today, and I am just waiting to begin a conversation with Harry Matadeen. Harry Matadeen is in the UK, and Harry is a big detoxification expert. He's written a number of books now. I think he may have totaled 4 books now on all sorts of natural healing protocols. He is the king. This is the king of natural healing in the world. I think this guy is practicing more natural healing things than anyone that I know. Harry, my brother.
Yo, how's it going, John?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Who are you talking to? I'm interested. You recording someone else?
No, I was just recording an introduction message.
Oh,
And
okay.
here you are. I'm glad we got you super quick. Awesome. Haven't talked to you for about 6 months. This is the 3rd time we've talked now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a long time now. It does feel a long time, isn't it? 6 months, you're right.
Maybe 4 times we might have talked.
Twice this year, definitely. Twice this year, I remember. But one before, maybe.
Maybe 4 times. Maybe 4 times I've talked to Harry. And I think we're around 2.5 years, 2 to 3 years of friendship now. Something like that. Something around there that we've been on each other's engagement. And I really love everything that Harry's doing. And so I'm often on his page or engaging with his posts. If you want to find real concrete pavement, like the road, the feet are on the road, actually applying this stuff in real time. I do it in real time, and Harry Matadeen does it in real time more than anybody else that I know. This guy's done it all. And I think, Harry, now I wasn't sure, correct me, 3 books or 4 books?
4 books now, brother. Yeah, we stepped up this year. Yes.
4 books on natural healing.
Correct. All the things that you love to talk about and I love to talk about, like you said, from the ground up. I focused on the ones that are the most important, the ones that we focus on the most. So that's what I tried to do.
And, I don't want to tell anybody because I think people hear me say it enough on my page. Let me hear you share what are the most important things to naturally heal your life. And you know what? In my opinion, it's the only way that you can heal your life is naturally.
Yeah. So the first one I think I came on, it was aged urine, not just urine therapy. I thought I'd go there with aged urine specifically because there was no book on aged urine alone. So mine, I could proudly say, I'm not saying it's the best, it's the first ever book of many, I hope, of aged urine, which is a very important topic, very beautiful.
Okay, so let's just touch that for a second, aged urine, because you know what? We got to put the disclaimer out for aged urine. We understand that not everybody's going to drink urine or age their urine or have anything to do with it. We understand that. We understand that aged urine has a huge history. Let the author tell me a little bit about the history of aged urine.
Well, John, that's where actually I come to people like yourself that taught me actually about, you posted up early last year about the Buddha. I didn't even know that, and I saw your post about it. So if that's to be believed, and it's definitely my bias and it makes sense, what you posted was that the Buddha recommended it fermented, not just ordinary fresh, fermented, your own urine, which by the way is very easy to do. You just sit it in a bottle, whether it be plastic or glass preferably, and it just closed it or open it, and it sits and it becomes more powerful. So the Buddha recommended it. That makes complete sense to me. It resonates because what it does is it uplifts the vibration of the vessel. So it upgrades your health, your healing and all that stuff. But if you want to go back in history, we've got people like Che Guevara, the Aztecs using it. I'm sure the yogis did it. There's so many texts. There's
lots of connection to it in yoga, and a lot of high-level yoga experts are involved with that. But yeah, the Buddha, there are scriptures that were written by the Buddha about aged urine and using urine for the healing. It's written in the Quran. There's reference to it in the Bible.
Yep.
So urine and urine therapy and the healing effects of urine go back thousands of years. It's always been here. And even though the Buddha said it, even, half of his disciples still weren't open to drinking their urine. So I don't I mean, if the Buddha said it and his disciples, all of them weren't unanimously following that, how would we expect that the world would be open to that possibility? So, hey, we understand that aged urine is something that very few people will even open their mind to, but it has magical healing properties. What did you talk about in the book that you think is really valuable and important? What's your most important takeaway from aged urine?
Right. Look, it wasn't a very big book, but what I'm proud of it is it had a little bit of science. Obviously, I've learned more since then, so I'm redoing another book. My 5th one, by the way, is going to be on aged urine again. But what I'm proud of in the first one, which is really important for people, is I put an 8-step protocol of how to get into a system. Now, I did it for a lot of reasons. A, the more you get in your system, the better. But B, this is for people, like you just mentioned, that aren't going to do it because it's disgusting to smell, so they don't want to drink it because it's disgusting. They don't want to, put it on their skin because it's smelly. That's why I put the 8-point system to get it into your body. So you can put it up your bum. That doesn't hurt. That's a different way. You can put it through your nose. There's ways of getting around it. If you don't like the smell, if the smell offends people on the skin, if you don't like the taste of it down your throat, you can do lots of things. So I'm proud to say that the 8-step protocol off the top of my head, drinking it, putting it through the nose, under the tongue, on the skin, up the bum, sublingually holding it under the tongue, and using it as a urine wash, to clean out the microbiome of the mouth. So the 8-point system was what I was most proud of that book. So yeah.
So I love that, and you touched on something there that I think we have to talk about, which is it's just so important. The enema, aged urine up the bum. This is so important, and we got to remember that when the baby's in the mummy's tummy, urine is all around the baby. It's in the eyes, it's in the nose, it gets up into the brain, it's all on the skin, and that's why the baby's skin when it comes out is so soft and supple, and it gets up into the bum. It's all a part of the digestive system, and it really helps with the bacteria in the digestive system, which is your own bacteria. So people talk about the bacteria in urine. Well, that's your bacteria, and people are paying money to try to buy probiotics. What's probiotics? Probacteria, good bacteria, your bacteria. You're paying good money to buy probiotics when your bacteria is actually found inside of your own urine.
Exactly. And it proliferates, we believe, when it ages. So it gets even more. If there was some in the fresh, it just becomes more and more and more. Concentrated magic medicine, and concentrated microbiome.
So the enema, we got to talk about that. That's important.
Sure, that's one of the 8-point systems that I do for the aged urine, the way to get into a system, because we know that any enema is good, like a wheatgrass enema is good, a distilled water is good, a fresh urine is good, but we know also that aged urine, being the potent medicine it is even better to clear the colon out with that, because what it will do is it will, instead of just giving it a wash, it will heal the damage from cooked foods, because I eat cooked food still now, my colon's damaged, so it goes in there and it heals the tissues and it regenerates the tissues in the colon and the lower base of the colon, which are damaged by overeating, from not fasting enough, from wrong foods, and a lifestyle from childhood. We're talking about damaged colon from childhood that everyone's carrying in their system. So even if people are good now, they've got damaged colon from 10 years back, from when they were a baby and their parents fed them the wrong food. So
what would you say? So people say that enema is not natural and enema is gross and that's disgusting. Why are you even talking about that? You guys are disgusting. How do you handle that?
Well, it's just from my own experience. It's taught me that I still go to the poo regularly doing it. So I know it's not weakening the colon. That argument's wiped away. But second, I can see the results, because the longer I hold it in, or the longer I can't hold in the aged urine, indicates how damaged my colon is, which I've been damaging through eating the wrong foods for all my life. So I know that, I can't hold it in very long. Damn. And then what happens is if I maintain consistency, I can hold it in longer and longer and longer and longer. So that's showing me, it's actually healing my tissues. My colon's damaged. This cannot be a bad thing. And I am what Arnold Eric talked about. Like, everyone's got a damaged colon. Everyone's got pounds and pounds of feces. Yeah, some have got more than others, but even people like us have got it a little bit, and we need to constantly maintain this. I mean, you know this, John. We live in an environment of air's poisoned. We're breathing in glyphosate, if you believe that everything bad, we're breathing it in. So it's all damaging us and damaging the colon. So we got to constantly do the things, and the medicine works anywhere aged urine, but if you put it directly in the colon, it's going to directly 100% hit that area. So that's what you want. Concentrated medicine in a concentratedly badly damaged organ of the colon is where you want it. And that's why there'll always be a place for enemas, and it's always has been. And we're coming back to this knowledge too on enemas. So
would you agree that the enema then is like a part of natural healing?
Oh, 100%. I think it's a fool's game. I mean, I don't know if you've read Professor Spira's book. He's got a very good book on that. And he's, in 20 years of fruitarian, he mentioned that he still pulls stuff out, 20 years of cleansing with fruits and eating the right foods, and he still pulls stuff out of enemas, still doing that. So if he is having, pulling stuff out at that age, of that level of discipline he's been with the right foods, you can imagine what people like ourselves have been. We're only 5-10 years into this game. So, yeah.
So people need to get over a little bit their hangups with the enema's gross and that's disgusting. And
definitely. And you know what? One way to do it is I do at the moment. I don't have an enema bag. I've got a 60 millimeter syringe, and you can buy them online. Just type in 60 ml syringe, plastic, and you buy them cheap, 50p each. And I just put it in there, and I'll go again. So if that's not enough, 60 mils of aged urine or whatever you put, distilled water, you refill it, squeeze. Stick it in your bum, refill, and then it's not as awkward as the enema bag can be. The enema bag can be a bit official, can't it? You have to put all this 2 liters in. Why don't you just buy a 60 ml syringe then? That's what I do. That's what other people recommend. Buy a small thing, stick it in, and you know what? You can take it anywhere. Unlike the enema bag, it's a bit awkward. You can just 60 ml syringe, carry it, travel with it, take it anywhere.
So we do need to get over this fear of this.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, it's a huge sticking point.
Yeah, it's a big sticking point, but we all need to kind of get over this little hurdle there. Like the enema is necessary because we have been eating the wrong foods for a long time.
Yeah, 100%, and we're all guilty of this.
Yes, all guilty of this. We've all got the bad habits. We all love the pizza. We all love the cooked foods. We've all eaten the meats and the dairies, and we've all gotten addicted to that stuff. And if we've been doing that for this many years, like Arnold Ehret said in 1910. That he was doing a cadaver study, and at that point 15 to 30 pounds of fecal waste were found in cadavers. Now forward 100 years and look at what's happened to the food in the last 100 years, 110 years. The food has just gone way down in quality and way up in processing and chemicals, and we've been ingesting that, and we've gotten addicted to it. So our need for enema has gone way up. And he was saying that the enema was a part of the healing protocol in 1910. So a 1 to 3 day fast, and then fruit, a 1 to 3 day fast, and then fruit and enemas each time you go through. That's the minimum healing requirement that was recorded in a book by Dr. Arnold Ehret, the originator of the modern healing, vegan lifestyle, fruitarian, change your life naturally lifestyle, which is the only way that you can heal your life for real.
It's always been the way. I was speaking to Jennifer Daniels, who did Turpentine yesterday. I did an interview with her, and she said that with Turpentine, I'll link it to this because the ancient knowledge of Turpentine has existed.
You had a talk with Jennifer Daniels?
Correct. I had an interview. It's coming out, brother. I'll tag you on it. It's really interesting. I interviewed her.
For an interview.
Yeah, she did an interview for us on Turpentine, and she was talking about the ancient knowledge of Turpentine. She says over in the Caribbean, even today, the society and culture does Turpentine now because they seem to know. And she said, it's only the Western culture we've forgotten these things. And it's the same with enemas. We used to do it. Our grandparents had heard of enemas. Before they went to hospital, a great-grandparents and stuff would have done enemas before. The nurse would have given it to them. It's only recently that this knowledge has somehow got lost, and now it's been confused with something disgusting that you don't that is only for when you're sick. But actually, it's not just when you're sick, and even then people don't do it. It's preventative medicine ongoing, because as you and I know, it's actually easier to maintain health when you're not ill than it is once you're ill to fix yourself, you know? So we should always be doing it, even if we feel healthy.
Awesome. So Dr. Jennifer Daniels, just to frame up who she is, she's the real leader of the Turpentine movement, right?
100%. Yeah, John, I recommend you talk to her too. She's very open. Yeah, but she's the one that brought 2010 the Turpentine to national infamy. And if it wasn't for that lady, I don't know where we'd be regarding using Turpentine, the cure, which I know you've tried and I've tried. And it's very powerful.
Are you using Turpentine long term, or I did it for 6 months, like daily for 6 months, pretty much?
Oh, wow. I only tried it for a week last year, and I found the results incredible. So that's one of my experiments. I've got so many to do. That's one of my experiments to come when I've stopped doing other experiments. But my God, is it wonderful what happened in that week, and probably for yourself in that 6 months. You know, it's incredible.
Awesome. Okay. So aged urine, book 2, Harry. What's
yeah, and now this is important, and this is something you're very experienced with as well as myself. Sunlight and sun gazing, 1 and 2. That's God. Yeah, it was put in one book, Sunlight and Sun Gazing. I'm going to do another sequel at some point in the future because I've learned more.
Sunlight and sun gazing.
Yes, both of them together, because they are both powerful. And I really wanted to get the idea that looking at the sun is a dangerous thing out of because just like urine's a waste product was a myth, sun gazing is a bit of a myth. And I found this out last year that looking at the sun, and even the midday sun, although I know people won't want to hear that one, it's not dangerous. It only helped my healing and my energy levels since I started doing it.
Prepare to look at the midday sun. You just have to prepare yourself to look at the midday sun. But if you are practicing sun gazing, then you can look at the midday sun.
Exactly. And you know what links in with that? You know, people sometimes get a tan in in high summer in the middle of the day. Well, one of the reasons why people get a tan is because they don't go out at sunrise. The red light of sunrise is designed to stock up the skin callus so that you can handle the skin, so you won't get sunburnt in the midday sun. So one of the huge reasons people don't get a sunburn is because they don't get enough sun. They don't get the sunrise sun. We're not just supposed to get a midday sun. We're supposed to wake up in nature at least 1 hour after sunrise, get 1 hour, 2 hours after, go out and get some sunrise sun, the red medicine.
So we need that different times of light. And the sunrise sun, the morning sun, is very important light for us.
Huge. I put 50% of my book when I wrote it was about red light therapy. Sunrise, sunset, sun is just red light. You can't see the color red, but trust me, it's just red light predominantly. It's no UVA, hardly any. And that red light is absolute medicine. I'm sure you're aware, John, people buy red light machines. You heard of red light therapy?
Yeah, yes. It's called...
photobiomodulation by chance? Is that the one?
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking about...
yeah.
Well, they have them in the saunas.
Oh, infrared saunas.
Infrared, yes, infrared.
Correct. And that's where's the infrared come from? It comes naturally from the sunrise and the sunset sun. So I put 50% of at the time I did the book, it was perfect because I just found out about sunrise, sunset. I never woke up a sunrise, sunset before in my life. I did that for 50 days straight, wrote the book. I'm still doing it every day now, by the way, because I just love it, obsessed with it. It gets to give me so much energy, and it was perfect. And it's so key that it's like the sun and sunlight. Every hour of sun is good, no matter what time you get. But you want to be getting is the three most important times, 2 most important times: sunrise, sunset, one or the other, or both, or highest in the sky, midday, which does a different thing. Those are the times, if you're limited on time, you must focus on. You can't just go for midday and think, I don't need the red light therapy, sunrise, sunset, because there's so much medicine you are missing out on, and it will cost you, in my opinion.
So many people are missing out on their healing because they're not taking the time to focus on actually getting nature time and actual time in the presence of the sunlight.
Exactly. And look, I understand people got busy lives. So sometimes, say you've got a work job, you can't get up at sunrise, you need to go to work. You can't be outside at sunrise. Well, that's why there's 2 suns that got red light, sunrise, sunset. You must do one a day. And if not, you know what? We live in a world of technology. I'll even say this, and I've got a red light machine. I'll even promote that and say a red light machine, buying one of those is better than not getting up using sunrise, sunset, sun. do what you can, understand what's going on, use a red light machine, sunrise, sunset, sun,
Or
mimics
do
it.
it on the weekend if you can't do it during the week. If you got a busy schedule and you can't do it during the week, do it on the weekend. You do extra time during the weekend. You're gonna have to make up for it if you can't get it, right?
Exactly.
We gotta put this in our mind, is that everything in the third dimensional world has masculine and feminine energy. There's two forces here. And the two forces that are here are the light of the sun and the planet Earth. These are the two biggest forces that we are engaged with.
Yep.
Now, the light of the sun takes the energy from source and puts it into a light beam and sends it to Mother Earth, who then manifests an entire planet of plants that sustain us. We are between two forces here: the force of light, electricity, and the force of magnetism, the planet Earth. We are the being that is a manifestation of these two forces. These are the two forces that we are involved with, the yin and the yang. It's the light and the Mother Earth. It's the Father, light, and the Mother Earth that creates everything that we have. Now, we can't leave out the light of the sun or the physical contact of the earth if we want to heal our lives. We have to bring these two forces together within the being. We are the being that is the physical marriage of the two forces. And when we marry the two forces within the being, we become well.
Yeah, that, John, I absolutely love what you said there. It's yin and yang. And people could be like cynical to what you just said and said, well, I'm above, the sun's above me shining up and the ground's above me. But what people are doing wrong is they're not going outside, because we live in a world where we can hide away from the sun now. We live in insulated houses, which have got loads of toxins anyway, but you can hide from the sun. You can, through windows, does benefits, but not properly. So you can hide from the sun now. We can also hide from the earth. Instead of grounding to the earth all the time, we can now insulate ourselves because we're not touched into the ground.
Shoes.
The yin yang. Yeah, we're not. We're wearing shoes. We're insulated the pavements, roads. No one takes their shoes off in parks. And with this insulation, like I said, if there's no yin yang and no wholeness, what is there? There's imbalance and chronic diseases and mental issues and depression and people that don't have the motivation to make the changes, you know, which is very sad.
Awesome. So sunlight, a big key. We got to include it.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Not only that, it's going to affect your circadian rhythms, your sleep cycle. You won't sleep properly if you don't get proper sunlight at the right times of the morning. You don't get the morning sun, you won't sleep properly. It affects everything. Every single part of the human body will suffer as a consequence of not getting enough sun. But it's okay to improve slowly. So if you only have 5 minutes sun a day, get 10 minutes. You know, it's not a rush. You're not expected to be out in the sun 24 hours a 7. We've all got busy lives. It's just about improving and getting a little bit more every single day.
If you can get that morning sun and gaze into it for 10 minutes, it's not a lot of time. Gaze into it for 10 minutes in the morning or at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And not only that, I'm in the UK, so it's even rarer than that. We get that.
Northern Hemisphere, Canadians, same thing. It's very important. It's vital. We need to do this.
Yep. And even 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it comes out. Take that chance. Just look at it and blink a few times and realize that it's ultimately a mindset. You have to understand that in your heart that it's not going to damage you. It's going to heal you. And then when you do and you experience it, you'll be wanted to motivate to do it again. So all these things we're talking about, it's about experiencing it.
Intention is important. We have to be on side with it.
Exactly. You have to look at it, know that it's good for you, try it, experience the benefits, realize it's making you feel better. And then it'll be a cycle of, okay, this makes me feel better. You know, Harry and John were talking about it. Now let's carry on doing it. And then you make it a habit, and then you become more whole and balanced and the best version of yourself.
So this is where the mind has to change, because the mind is, we got to get out of the sun. We need to stay out of the sun. We got to cover ourselves up with ultraviolet protection if we're going out into the sun. All of this stuff is mental stuff that we've got to let go of. So there has to be a mind change here. We can't heal without changing the mind.
Exactly. You know, there's something goes so deep. I was listening to a podcast today, John. It said that if you wear sunglasses, it stops the production of melanin in your skin. So guess what? You're not going to get suntan. You're going to get sunburnt if you wear sunglasses. There's a couple of things you should not do: sunglasses and sun cream and contact lenses. Those three. Just don't go there. If you've got them, get contact lenses, get rid of them. If you've got sunglasses, don't wear them and wean yourself off them. You've got sun cream, never put that stuff on your body unless you're going to eat it. Unless you want to eat that sun cream. If you want to eat it, fine, put it on your body. But if you don't want to eat it, don't put it on your body. That's my rule.
Because putting it on your skin is the same as absorbing it in and eating it. It's the same thing. Yep. You're putting it into your body.
Yep, it's poison. It's the worst thing you can do for your health is the three things I've just told you: contact lenses, sunglasses, and I know sunglasses are cool, so we've really got a lot of work to do in that area in terms of teaching celebrities and normal people that sunglasses are for protection of eyes when they're not. Absolutely not. So, you know, but we'll keep going, John, and we'll keep talking to people about the right things of, you know, health and healing on those in these areas.
Awesome. Okay. Book 3, Harry.
Right. The book 3 was a more of a general one. It's something you'll like as well. It's about negative ions. Covers a huge area. Yeah.
Ooh. I don't think I've spoken to you since this has been.
No, I don't think it came out. Actually, it came out September the 11th. So yes, it's quite a recent one. And what I did was I covered the basis of urine therapy again, grounding. I added grounding for the first time into it. I thought that's really
what we're talking about, negative ions. So this is important. Yep. People need to understand that the negative ions, magnetism, and the electromagnetic body.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
negative
all
ions.
What healing's all about is balancing that.
Yeah, and it gives you so much energy, and you can go out and it's free medicine on the ground every single day. And it's not just that. I put in that book crystals. Holding a crystal in your hand is negative ions. What else is there? The pure air, going to the seaside, going to the beach, going up to a countryside place where there's pure air, the lakes, rivers, and staying around there. All these things are inhalations of negative ions that are going to heal your body. So I put in that book as comprehensive as I could on the things that I knew on negative ions, all encompassing, and also the dangers of positive ions too, because we want to touch base a little bit with, you know, the radiator heat, fake heat, what else? Positive ions, toxins, chemicals, factories, cities have a lot of positive ions, so we've got to be careful where we live and spending too much time in poisonous areas too.
Negative ions. Can you expand on negative and positive ions and food and coffee and alcohol and, you know, day-to-day life and positive and negative ions? Can you talk a little bit more about that, Harry?
Sure. Well, in 1933, there was a study done by a Russian guy that took out positive ions from the air, completely neutralized it, and all the rabbits died. So actually, if air doesn't contain any, if our air doesn't have any, we're in trouble. And there's a guy saying that there's a famous quote saying that negative ions are like the vitamins of the air. That's how we should look at them. There's vitamins in fruits and vegetables, and the vitamins in the air is the negative ions, and in the aged urine too. So we need, it's not like a luxury. It's not something, you know, I'll just take it, I'll feel better. It's actually something essential to life and to health. So without taking these things into our system, you know, the aged urine, the pure air, the beach, the countryside air, what we do is we'll become lethargic and lazy and slow down. Our brain will slow. And these are like the opposite of what we want. We want to be quick-witted. We want to think properly. We want to be healthy. We want to have full of energy. So it's the key that these negative ions and small clusters of negative ions too. And it's the opposite of what you think it would be, because it's called negative ions, isn't it? You think negative is...
It seems reversed, right?
It's weird, isn't it? Like positive ions are bad for us, and then negative ions are really good. And it is bizarre. You know, another one, John, is plants as well. Trees, nature provides us with this for free. So we should put loads of plants in our room. We should be around nature with the trees that produce them, protect us from EMFs. There's this, in the book, I put a lot of little things, like my geek style, of like things that people can do that we should be doing on a daily basis to really up their energy levels. And I really believe, I'm sure you're the same, the key to health, one of them, there's many, is negative ions, getting it inside your body.
So the planet Earth is negatively charged.
Correct, absolutely. And the sun is positively charged, although it's a good thing. There's like we said earlier, there's a balance between this masculine yin sun and the yang feminine natured negative ion Earth. And the negative ion Earth is abundant. There is no limit to how much she provides us. you can't ground on the grass and say, oh, the earth is running out of negative ions. That's not how it works. You just stand there for 5 hours, 10 hours, even when you're sleeping, ground, and it will just keep providing you with this negative ion energy into your system, so long as you've got skin contact. You can't do grounding negative ions to the earth if you've got socks, shoes, and you have to ground to your skin, because your skin is a conductor. And also, John, I don't believe that's a coincidence either. The way our skin is designed to absorb these doesn't seem like a coincidence to me. It seems like a design.
So positive ions from the sun, negative ions from the earth. And it's really a fact that when we're taking in a lot of coffee, alcohol, processed foods, that we're taking in too many positive ions, and we create an imbalance of positive ions inside of the body, which helps to create disease in the body.
Exactly. And what you said about positive ions, what they do is they generate something called free radicals, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. Now, we do not want too many free radicals in our system, because what these free radicals do running about is they create disease. So the free radicals the positive ion free radical generates need negative ions to balance them out and neutralize them. If you don't have enough, and one way of looking at health, there's many ways. One way to look at ill health is too many positive ions, not enough negative ions. And one way of looking at really healthy is the opposite. Too many, which is good, negative ions, and too little positive ions. And what coffee, alcohol, drugs, overeating, eating the wrong foods, eating at the wrong time as well, eating at the wrong time, you missed the right. Oh, whoa, huge. Stress, not taking care of yourself, wrong thoughts, bad mentality, overworking, overtired, not enough sunlight. All these things are generating
anger, shadow emotions.
Oh, huge. Not looking at yourself. Yep. Anger, shadow emotions, blaming other people for your own mistakes. All these kind of things are generating, and you've got to get the balance of homeostasis right. And one way of correcting the too many positive ions is to flood your body. Like I say in the book, flood your body with negative ions, and that will create the imbalance, and you'll start getting your health back slowly. So.
Awesome. So we talked about emotions there. I want to expand on that, because I think this is one thing that I've been really talking about a lot lately, is that shadow emotional stuff. Do we all have shadow emotions, Harry?
I think, John, a sort of consequence of duality, which we come into, which I love. I love duality, by the way. But with everything good, there must be very high, there must be a low. That goes for every single human living in duality. And that means that you will be happy some days, and some days you will have to face your shadow, because the opposite of happiness is, sadness. The opposite of love is, boredom, whatever you want to call it. There's always going to be in life of duality this development, because we're not looking at ourselves. And I'm not perfect. I've got a shadow side I'm dealing with. My shadow side has changed a lot since when I started, but I still got shadows that I will look at and I'm working through. The point is, you have to, in order to change your shadow to become a better person, you have to acknowledge that your shadow is real and give it credence, and then work through it. Don't ignore it, because a lot of people will do anything to hide from that shadow. Absolutely anything.
They hide it. They suppress it. Because, I know, and I had a discussion just with a customer just yesterday, and the response was, well, like, I'm a good person, so that means I don't really have negative things in my life. How would you respond to that?
Well, I've been in that position before too. And then what happens is I fasted for a long time, and the emotions came out, and I start crying, and I'd think, actually, you know what? There is, you know what it is? My best answer to that is this. What we think consciously is like 5% of the brain. Our brain is run by 95% subconscious. And we don't, and even me and you, John, we know a lot, but we don't know everything that's going on in our subconscious. It's absolutely impossible. So for someone to say they don't need any human to say they don't need shadow work, that assumes that they are conscious 100%. That's impossible. Your brain is running on a subconscious auto program constantly.
There's things that we don't know that are suppressed, that, it's not that you're a bad person if you have a shadow. This is the thing. It's like, shadow is a part of life. Like, every person has a shadow. It doesn't mean you're good or you're a bad person because you have a shadow. First of all, there's no bad people. There's no bad people, right? Everybody is a good person. Some good people do bad things. Some Everybody does bad things sometimes. Nobody is good or bad. It's not like I'm bad if I have a shadow emotion. It's not like I'm bad if I have to address my shadow emotion. We all have to address our shadow emotions. It's that society says that it's not right to be angry. It's not right to be frustrated. It's not right to be sad. It's not right to be low energy. We got to be high energy with our kids. We got to be high energy at work. We got to be high energy. We got to perform. We got to perform. So we end up shoving all of that shadow stuff down, and we can't deal with it. We don't have time to deal with it. We don't have time to deal with it. Oh, I can't deal with that right now. Well, if we don't ever deal with it, then it stays stuck in the body. And these shadow emotions get stuck in the weak spots in the body. So if you've got an injury in your body, those shadow emotions will go into your injuries. If you've got, in your digestive system is a real big spot for them, because our digestive system is damaged from poor eating. So we've got inflammation and damage inside the intestinal tract, in the intestines. There's damage in the liver. There's damage in the kidney. So shadow emotions can get into the organs of the kidney, on the liver, in the intestines. Shadow emotions will hide in your organs, and you'll feel like, oh, I've got a digestive ailment and I need to take a medication to fix it. Really, I need to do the shadow work to release that stuff. Now, when you do the shadow work, you're fasting, you're staying empty, because that's how we heal the body. And then you're going to feel these emotional stuff's going to come up. Shadow stuff's going to come up, anger, frustration. And then, we try to cover it up by eating something or drinking something to feel better, coffee or alcohol. That's how we cope. We get a medication to cope with it. We suppress it. All of this shadow stuff is suppressed. And if we were to actually sit and face that shadow, like fast, feel those emotions come up, and then lock yourself in your bedroom, lie under the covers, go for a workout, go for a jog, go for a holiday by yourself, spend a couple days, just be in your room, just be by yourself, and work through that stuff. Because you're going to have to work through the thoughts that are associated. Well, she did this to me, or he did this to me, or they did that to me, or they're this, or they're that. You're going to have to reconcile those emotions. You're going to have to forgive them, and you're going to have to forgive yourself. Because until you do, that shadow stuff is going to be stuck in there. And until you stop blaming other people for what's going on in your life, they did this to me, or they're bad, or they're this, and they're this. It's the liberals, it's the conservatives, it's the blacks, it's the women, it's the paraplegics, it's the this, it's the that. Stop blaming. No one is to blame. We are the creators. And as long as you keep blaming somebody else for something and saying they're bad and I'm good, that's all the problem. That's all the problem. Stop blaming anyone else. Everybody is creating their reality. And as long as you keep shoving down those shadow emotions and not dealing with them, they'll continue to manifest the same pains and problems and sickness and illness and disease in your life, which you're going to go get medicated for, what you're drinking your coffee for, what you're drinking your alcohol for, what you have those eating habits for, because you're trying to drown out your sorrow in food.
Yeah. I mean, you wonderfully said, by the way. Life is tough for all of us, but at some point you have to make a decision to start the process, and understand as well before you start that there is another way where you can heal yourself and feel so much better. People like me and you and many others here are talking about it. There's a better way. So you start the process, you make the choice, and it's going to be a long journey. It's long for me, it's long for you, John. We're never done. We love it though. We love it. But you've got to start and make a choice. You're either, because karma's real. Your body will give you feedback. If you're suppressing emotions, you've got stress, you're not pulling out from deep within, and you're not doing the work, it will stay in the body, and it will cost you either a shortened life, which you don't want because you want to be there for your children, your friends and family, or if it doesn't shorten your life, it will definitely shorten the quality of your life. And these are not ways that we want to live, because it won't give you what you came here to do, which is to become the best version of yourself, the happiest version of yourself, and to help other people. There will always be blocks unless you make that decision. And literally, I know it's cheesy what John said and what I'm saying as well, but you have to make a decision to do it. You have to say enough's enough. That's what happened to me 10 years ago. Enough's enough. I'm going nowhere in my life. I can't carry on with this. Okay. And start and recognize that it's never a process where you just finish. You're constantly working yourself, constantly.
But it's not like we're saying, you know, your problem's not important, or, you know, people will come on and say, well, you don't understand because I was raped. You don't understand because I live in an impoverished country. You don't understand because you know, my mother did this and she was an alcoholic, or she was a drug addict, or my mother killed herself, or my mother died of cancer, or that. Whatever is going on for anyone, it's hard. We all understand it's hard. We've all had traumas and we've all had challenges. We've all had a bad relationship. Not all of us have been abused, and I'm not trying to belittle you because you were abused. But Oprah Winfrey was abused and raped at 9 and 13. And she's the most successful female woman in the world. So you can overcome these things, but you have to decide at some point to let it go. Like, if you're not ready yet, that's okay. But some point along the way, you've got to say, I'm making a decision. I'm in charge, and I'm going to deal with these emotions. I'm going to deal with this energy, and I'm going to heal it. And I'm going to forgive that person, or just say, you know what? I'm just not going to interact with that person anymore, but I forgive them. I'm not holding anger or hate or frustration or any sort of shadow emotion toward that person or that situation anymore. I've got to let it go. Nobody else can do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away until I let it go. And it's my mind and my decision to do that. It has to happen.
Yeah. And John, what you talked about is interesting. Like, we know now from neuroplasticity, the brain can change at any point. It's not just in your 20s, up to 20s. From age 50, 60, your brain can change. So if you understand, do some research on neuroplasticity. If you think that where you are now in the comfort zone of being a victim is who you are, all you have to understand is that your brain can fix itself, and you can slowly move those mirror neurons away from victim mindset to, oh, I'm a bit more positive today. I'm still negative. I've still got a victim mentality, but I'm taking action. I'm getting a bit more positive. That's how I started. I had a major negativity and a little bit more positive, like 1%, maybe 0.1% more happy. And then I did it every single day, like that's it.
Inch by inch by inch by inch. That's how we heal naturally. It's not overnight. It's not a pill. It's not like you do this and all of a sudden you're healed. And people say, oh, I did that for a week or two and this happened and that happened. Yeah. It's not going to happen in a week or two.
No. And you know, John, as well, I'm 10 years into this. The first 5-6 years, I'll be completely honest with you, the process, I was doing the right things, John, for the first 6 years, trying to become happier, taking action, but I was not enjoying the process. And I was doing the right things, but I was resisting and saying, I hate the process. And I was saying in my mind, I just want to be fixed tomorrow. I said that for so many years, but I was doing the right thing. Do you know what happened? Because I carried on doing the right thing and I persisted past that point, eventually, 6 years in, I started to love the process. And now I really love the process. And every year that I go on this earth, and I'm sure the same, you just love the process and the journey more and more and more. And it's nonstop.
So this is what has to happen. We've got to embrace ourselves, embrace this shadow that we have, admit it.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it. If you're still saying you don't have a shadow, well, then the mindset's got to make a shift, because every human does.
Yeah. That's part of duality. It's part of ego. Ego keeps us alive, but at the end of the day, yeah, definitely.
Book 4, Harry. You got a 4th?
Yeah, this one I'm really proud on. This is, I don't know if you know, John, it's a transcendental meditation. Have you heard of it?
Cool. Well, I'm all about meditation.
Yeah, I thought you were. And yeah, I've seen a lot of your posts, and I'll be honest, I've been on and off meditation for the longest time. I never committed to it until 2 months ago. I committed to transcendental meditation through a series of coincidences. And literally 40 days into the transformation experience, I started writing the book. Within 2 weeks, I was done. I was high. It transformed my health, my happiness. And now, day 77, I will not stop one day of this meditation because I found it to be easy to do, effortless. And if from my bias, it's the most powerful of all the meditations. I know some people might disagree with me and say mindfulness is more powerful, but I found it to be effortless, easy, and the most powerful for my brain to heal myself from my damage. So
okay, please
I just love it.
define transcendental meditation versus mindfulness meditation, or what other kinds of meditation there are. Could you please separate by definition?
Sure. Well, there's 3 types of meditation. 2 of them are mindfulness. One of them's open focus. So watching your thoughts come and go like the ocean and not judging them. That's open focus. Then there's intentful focus, where you focus on an object, a candle, your breath, or like loving kindness. And there's the 3rd type, which is, those 2 are mindfulness. And the 3rd type of meditation is called self-automated transcendence. And this is the type that I love because it just does something for my brain that is easy and effortless. I always struggled with mindfulness. I struggled the longest time, John, to have the discipline, if I'm being honest, to do the 20 minutes a day of mindfulness watching. But this one, I took to it like lead out of water. I just loved it from the start. It was easy to do, and it put me in a state of peace, and it brought balance to my brain hemispheres like none of the other meditations did. With such little effort, I had to write a book on it. I had to promote it, and I'm going to continue this talking about it and doing it more importantly for the rest of my life, because I really do think it's powerful.
Okay, so let me copy back. Open focus, just watching the thoughts. Intentional focus, specifically watching the breath, or loving kindness, like putting love out into the planet with intention, loving the self, building love inside the self, and intentionally putting love out. And transcendental, what's the difference?
Yeah, so the transcendental one puts you in a verifiable 4th state of consciousness, which is different to waking, sleeping, and dreaming. Now, this 4th state of consciousness is deeper than sleep. Now, one of the reasons why they say that transcendental meditation is deeper than sleep is because it drops your metabolic rate, your rate of metabolism, consumption of oxygen, by 16% on average compared to sleep, which does it only 8%. So when you do your 20 minutes of transcendental meditation a day, you're supposed to do it twice daily, you will feel the body relax, the brain the body takes a deep rest. Far better than taking 20 minutes of a nap is to do 20 minutes transcendental meditation.
So how do you say you get into transcendental meditation? How do you do it?
To do it is very simple and effortless. You just get one word, which is given to you by a coach, but it could be any word. That's the thing with it. So I use the word one, and I'll close my eyes and I'll say the word one in my head gently, repeat it gently, let my mind wander, because our mind always wanders, and then I just bring it back to the one. So it's automatically bringing myself back verbally, gently saying a one word, like a crazy person if you want, like just one, just gently letting the mind wander and then bring it back. And I continue this for 20 minutes. And what I find, and what you'll find, is you'll transcend into a deep state of relaxment, almost like you go to the root of all your thoughts. Your mind is like the ocean, they say. The mind surface is very washy, can be very rough. And when you transcend with transcendental meditation, you take yourself to a very calm and quiet place, the source of all thoughts. And it's just very peaceful and loving and kind and beautiful there. I love it. It's my favorite part of the day to experience the brainwave states and the bliss of transcendental.
So you're saying you do it by a recitation of a word.
Correct. One word. This it could be anything. Preferably one syllable. So one, sun. It could be a chant word like om, or whatever's given to you in transcendental meditation is fine. And you just keep saying that word and let your mind wander, and don't beat yourself up. And you bring back the word, and you will feel from the first 45 seconds to a minute, your body floods with serotonin, dopamine. Studies have shown there's a lot of studies on transcendental meditation, more than any other meditation or mindfulness. They've done more studies on it. And from minute one, your body floods with serotonin, dopamine. Your body relaxes to such a level that you can now remove stress and shadow emotions from out the system without doing any official shadow work. It is shadow work, actually. So what it does is this is one way people describe transcendental meditation, the difference between them. They say that mindfulness removes stress from the present moment. So say today you're stressed, there's stress in your body, mindfulness will remove that. Transcendental meditation is so powerful that it digs deeper. It digs stress from my past, from my shadow.
I would call this what I call this transmutation. This is the lifting up of shadow energy and emotion and bringing it into the meditation and allowing the being inside to lift up the energy, because there is a bit to you, to me, to all of us here that is of the infinite nature. There is a piece in each one of us that is spirit. We are mind, body, and spirit. We are body, mind, and spirit. And if you look at the original teaching that goes back thousands of years, is that everything in the third dimension is of these three things. Everything is physical, body, everything is mental, and everything is spiritual. So we are body, mind, and spirit. So there is a bit to us that is spirit. Now, the thing about spirit is you can't talk about it. Please, someone tell me where the spirit is. No, nobody can tell you where the spirit is, but it's in us. And you can't really talk about your spirit because it's infinite. Like, talk about God, please. There's no words for the infinite because we are finite. So as long as we're within a finite structure, we can't conceptualize the infinite. So we can't conceptualize that there is an infinite part within us, and we can't talk about it. So we can't talk about the spirit part of us. It's in us, nevertheless, and it's the most highest frequency bit of us. The lowest frequency bit of us is the physical dense body. The mind is the next bit of us, and then the spirit is at the far end, the highest frequency bit of us. Now, the spirit of higher frequency has the power to raise up the frequency of the body, and it has the power to raise up the frequency of the mind. If we bring mind and body to the spirit, they will be risen in frequency. Well, that happens in transcendental meditation. That's when you bring the body, mind, and spirit together. That's when you bring the frequency of physical body, the frequency of mind, into the space where they can interact. That's transmutation or human magic, the power to lift up the frequency of the lower frequency bits of ourselves. So the shadow is the lower frequency bits of us.
Yeah, John, that is it.
High frequency emotions and low frequency emotions. The shadow is the low frequency emotions. We got to bring those low frequency emotions up to higher frequency emotion. How do we raise up the frequency of something in us? How do we do that? Meditation is the magic to do that. That's how that happens.
Absolutely. Meditation is the key to everyone's life. And I'm not going to mock any of the meditations because actually I think mindfulness is harder but more worthy. However, what you said is perfect because what transformation does from my first session of 20 minutes for everybody is you'll experience less body, physical, and you'll start experiencing more mind, more spirit. It sounds crazy, but what happened is 20 minutes in, I won't be able to feel my hands, John. My hands won't, my body, I can't feel it. It sounds crazy.
Hands, tingling
in
the body. You may feel tingling. You could feel anything. It's personal. And you may like mindfulness better, or you may like intentional focus better. So to say one is right and one's wrong, it's all trying to bring you to the spirit space. It's all trying to lift up your frequency, which is high frequency is happiness, health. High energy, that's high frequency. We want to be of higher frequency. Disease is of lower frequency body. If you connect a diseased body to an ohms meter, electromagnetic checker, tester, then you'll see that a diseased body has a lower frequency and vibration than an athletic, fit, healthy body. So we want to try to pick up the frequency of body. Well, how do we do that? By connecting body and mind to the highest frequency bit of the self, which is the spirit self.
Yeah. And we do all the wonderful things for the spirit. We do the physical health protocols, but what really elevates the spirit, you have to consider in your daily life, is the meditation of some kind, transcendental mindfulness, because that brain is where the consciousness lies. I mean, consciousness lies outside, but if you can tap into the magic of the brain, you know, from high beta, stress, just get a little stress, go to alpha, go to theta, go to delta, where you go to sleep. When we go to sleep, we go into these places of the spirits you talked about. We see these things, but we just don't remember. We go to these very special places when we sleep, but when we meditate, we can go to these places of when we're sleeping, but whilst awake.
In consciousness.
In consciousness. So
magic word, consciousness. Now, what's consciousness? It's basically just awareness. It's just being more self-aware. When you're more conscious, you're more self-aware. It's like when you can get to the awareness that you are aware of every single breath you're taking, and you can be aware of the intention that you have with each breath, then you are completely conscious. When you are aware of every single breath in your day, you are in a daily meditation. Every single moment of your day is conscious. When you're conscious all of the time, well, you're with your spirit all of the time, with your highest frequency bit all of the time. The spirit is never in the future. The spirit is never in the past. The spirit is always in the now. When you come into the now, you step into your greatest self, into your greatest power. That happens in the now. When you get in spirit, when you get inspired, you come into the present. That's when you step into the spirit. That's meditation. A massive, massive part of healing is meditation.
Huge, absolutely huge. And if you want to be stuck in the past, that won't aid you. You need to move to the present, and meditation brings you that awareness of the present self, the infinite consciousness that you are. You would experience it if you do mindfulness, transcendental, long enough. You commit to a practice daily, 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. For years on end, you will experience the magic of your true self slowly blossom like a flower. It starts small, like a little seed, when you do your first 5-minute mindfulness, first 20 minutes transcendental. And I'm 77 days experiencing wonderful things. And you just keep blossoming and watering the flower. And eventually you'll get to a very light being that's so beautifully blissful and happy and realizing its true nature and present with the breath all the time, like you said, and conscious. It's beautiful.
The true self is consciousness. The true self is the spirit being. The true self is the physical and the spiritual. It's both.
Yeah.
It's both, right? But the physical body and the mental body have been programmed.
Mm-hmm.
And the
I'd say, John, I'd say the Matrix has tried to keep us in a physical and forget about spirit. I think it's the fault of the system. Actually, they tell us there's no life after death. There's no such thing as souls. This life is all you've got.
We're a collection of cells. We're nothing but a mechanism. We're told we're a mechanism, right? And we're not mechanical. There is a bit of us that continues beyond.
Exactly. Yep. And that's not our true nature. And they want to take away our power. And what we're talking about today is all the things that you can do to bring yourself to a place of happiness, health. And really, all we're doing is we're saying, come back to who you actually are. We're not saying be different. We're saying come back to remember who you are, because that's what we were meant to design to be. And all we're doing with these protocols is we're bringing ourselves back closer a little bit every day. Like you said earlier, I love the way you did it, John. You said like a little bit every day and little bit, but it's so worthy because it makes you so happy helping other people and your journey, because that's all that we're here for. We're only here to become a little bit more spirit, a little bit less animal. You know, we live in the physical, but it's so nice to have these moments of transcendence, to have these moments of blissfulness and peak experiences. And they can only happen when you stop blaming other people and say, okay, it's up to me. Today I start.
Because the spirit is where the bliss is. The happiness is within. The happiness is within the spirit. The happiness is within the spirit. We need to spend more time with the spirit to become more happy, to lift up the frequency, to lift up the vibration, to heal the body and life. We got to get the low frequency stuff out, the shadow stuff, the low frequency habits and behaviors and substances and drugs.
Yep. Yeah, and a quick one on that. If people really don't want to look at their shadow in denial, all they need to do is stop eating for 2-3 days, and it will come up anyway. You can't deny it.
It'll come up. Just stop eating. Just stop eating. It'll come up. You'll see your shadow.
They'll try and stop it, but it's impossible. It will come up if you don't eat for a little while. That's one really good way of doing it. So, yeah,
brother, we've spent our time. We've spent our hour. It went by like that.
You did it very quickly. It felt like 20 minutes.
That was an hour. I'm going to cut us off again here. And I know we'll talk again in the next 6 months because I love to compare notes with you. Congratulations. Since I spoke to you, you've dropped 2 books. Fantastic.
Four books.
2 more books since the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
Because the last time I talked to you, you were just about to release the Sun book. It wasn't released yet. So you've actually done 3 books since the last time I spoke to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rushing them out. Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So you finished 3 books since the last time I spoke with you. I'm sure there's more in Harry Matadeen that's to come, or upgrades of what you've already done. So I'm going to be really happy to speak with you again as soon as possible. Within the next 6 months, for sure, we'll connect and share and compare notes. It's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure to learn and grow and share with you and follow you and continue to interact with you, man.
Thank you very much for having me on. If anyone's interested, my YouTube's Holistic Health with Harry, and type in Amazon my name, Harry Matadeen, you'll find my books. And I wish everyone all the best on their journey. I only have love, and I will help as many people as possible, just like John does. So hit me up, and I'll try my best to help you guys.
We put all your links associated with this video when we put it out. So we'll make sure we connect all your links associated with that. So if you want to get a hold of Harry Matadeen, and I'm going to be always sharing Harry Matadeen stuff, and follow Harry Matadeen because it's great. If you're sick of hearing John DePass, listen to Harry Matadeen. All right.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, John, for having me. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
All right, buddy.